What's going on? Good morning. Good morning to you all. Good morning to you all. Good morning, our brothers and sisters. What's going on to you all? Good morning. Good morning on this God morning. This is a great and awesome and wonderful day of the Lord. Man, we are awake. We are awakened in the truth as well as we are. What's going on, Brother Dexter? Good morning, Brother Calvin, Sister Ralph. Brother Ralph, Brother Morris, Sister Patricia. What's going on, Brother CJ? Thank you for sharing. Shawnee, Too Sweet Jackson, thank you for joining. Sister Kirkland, what's going on? Shalom to you as well. Brother Reggie, what's going on, brother? What's going on, Beach Bros? I got your text message, man. I just been busy. I'll hit you up. Sister Katrina, good morning. Is it Sister Williams? Is it Takia? What's going on, Big Brother Woodrow? Glad my big bro is on here today. All right, man. What's going on, bro? Hey, Sister Renee, what's going on to you? All right, man. Oh, it's truly a blessing to see all of you on this morning. All right, what's going on, Sister Regina? How you doing? Man, I'm definitely excited because I know that the Lord wants to speak to you guys about some things. All of you, he's getting ready to open up a lot of mighty doors for you guys and just people, period, in general, man. All of you guys, he's getting ready to open up a lot of doors. What's going on, Brother Keontre Bryant? What's going on, brother? Shalom to you. Thanks for sharing, Clyde Haynes. He's getting ready to open up a lot of doors. Y'all know me. I'm not on the prosperity teaching. I'm not on any of that stuff. I believed in teaching well-rounded. Those of us brothers and sisters who are Woodrow, don't start that this morning, man. Look, man, the season ain't even started yet. Don't not start this stuff this morning about no Cowboys, okay? Don't start that stuff this morning, man. Hey, look here, man. Hey, y'all gonna have to ignore my brother. Him and them doggone Cowboys, man. The Cowboy fans, they getting worse. The Cowboy fans are almost starting to become like the Falcon fans are just starting to become like the Cowboy fans. But at least the Cowboys done won something. Goodness. Woodrow, I'm going to put you on the prayer list, man, because you need to stop this mess. What's going on, Pastor Ryan Ellis? What's going on, Brother Perry, Brother Derek? Pastor Whitehead, thanks for joining, man. What's going on, all of y'all? Definitely, thank you for joining, man. Thank you all. Good morning, good morning, good morning. Definitely, this is a message that is for everybody. We are definitely in that shift moment that we talked about. We are definitely awakened. We are awakened spiritually, but we also are physically awakened this morning, man. You know, the good Lord is woken up all of us up this morning, man. God bless you too, Brother Woodrow, man. Praying for you, man. You definitely got to come out to the house, man. I'm going to have something else again, man. I'm going to invite you and the wife to come out. So definitely, the Lord is really blessing us. A lot of us, I think that I think that the struggle is dealing with the time. I think that's the struggle for a lot of brothers and sisters. Hey, First Lady Janessa. I think the time, Brother John Williams, what's going on? I think the time is the roughest part for us all. We've talked about, Brother Sean, what's going on, brother? We talked about a lot of different things. We've talked about heritage. We talked about custom. We've talked about the law. We talked about grace. We've talked about revelation. We've talked about Bible prophecy. We've talked about biblical nationality. I mean, everything you can name, we've talked about as a foundation. Now that you know these things, you know who you are. You know all of these things. You know, we've talked about Gentiles being grafted in. We've talked about Esau. We've talked about all of these things. We pretty much talked about everything. Bishop L.K. Robinson, thanks for joining. We talked about shalom to you as well, brother. Sister Christina, good morning. We talked about all of these things. All of these things. Now it's time that the Lord has been dealing with me on shifting us into an area spiritually. You've grown in your understanding of by many books, but that's not the final step. The final step is not just the understanding and the wisdom of many books. That's the process to get you started. The Apostle Paul, he started out that way with many books. He said, I was a Pharisee of Pharisees, touching the law blameless. He knew it in and out. Nicodemus knew it in and out, knew the law in and out. But it was one thing that it didn't have. Christ taught the disciples who were continuous learners who later became apostles. But it wasn't until later they became apostles once they got something that they needed. Good morning, Sister Barbara. And that was the Spirit. The Apostle Paul understood the law in and out, speaking several different languages, but it was something that he needed to fulfill his mission, and that was the Spirit. The disciples, they were taught things, conversation, talked about, it was questions, parables answered. They walked with the Christ. They saw them things that worked, but it was one thing that they did not have. That was the Spirit. It wasn't until Acts, the 2nd chapter, is when they receive the Ruach. They receive the Holy Spirit. Many of you are involved in churches and camps and all these different things, and you've gotten all of the information. You've gotten all of the books, the many books. You've gotten all of these different things. You've been to this conference. You've been to this feast. What's going on, Brother Brown? Duramic. You've been to this feast. You've been to that camp. You've been to that conference. You've been to all these things. You got the many books, but you're lacking the Spirit. Good morning, Brother Elder James. You're lacking the Spirit. It's something that if you look at the process of God and the way he operates and the way he functions, that's why I'm always talking to you about going and reading the so-called Old Testament. I don't like to call it Old Testament because that put into the mind that it's old and it's not, it has no validity. When we look at these, I go back and read the Old Testament because you can learn the character of God. Am I breaking up, y'all? I don't know, Brother Duran. It may be on your end. It seems like I'm clear. I got full bars over here. Brother Donnell, thank you for joining. What's going on, Big Brother Troy? Sister Tina, thanks for joining. Brother Duran, it may be on your end. You may be breaking up. You may have to go out and go in, come back in. But anyway, when you begin to look at the scriptures and you go to the Old Testament and you begin to read, there's a character. See, this is the thing that many believers lack. When you don't know the character of God, you can't know the operations and the functions of God. Because there's a certain character, the way God operates and the way he functions. This is why he can make the statement, I am the Lord thy God, I change not. Because when you read about him in the old, he's the same character. He has the same characteristics. Good morning, Brother Ross. He has the same characteristics from the old to the new. There was mercy and grace in the Old Testament. Just like there was mercy and grace in the New Testament. There was also a God that would kill you in the Old Testament, and there was a God that would kill you in the New Testament. What happened to Achan when they went to Jericho? He killed them because Achan disobeyed. What happened to Ananias and Sapphira? He killed them because they disobeyed. There was grace and mercy in both covenants. This is what we have to understand. But I think for us, I think the struggle that many of us have is because we haven't come to the full acceptance that in the realm in which we live in is time. This realm that we live in is called time. The realm in which the Father lives is called eternity. He says, I've declared the end from the beginning, meaning that where he is Everything that we're living out is already happened to him. This is why nothing surprises them, catch them off guard. This is why when you read the scriptures, especially when you get to Revelation, it's a story that's being played out. It's a story. Good morning, Brother Dion, Brother Lee, Brother Roy. It's a story that's being played out. And the thing is, it's already happened in eternity. The thing is, we live in a realm called time, where we're limited. This is why so many people cannot sit and go through the process so they can be sent. We have to really understand that. If we get our minds spiritually to a place and stop focusing on time, I had to come to that place myself. It's nothing easy. It's nothing that happens overnight. But when you get into a place, I had to come to rest, and the Lord had to show me. He said, listen, I can make your latter years more phenomenal and greater than your previous. Because you're trying to limit me based off the time that you live in. The world in which you live, you're trying to, what's going on, Brother Azza? You're trying to make me move or cause me to react because you're concerned about your age. This is why we have the lessons that we have when it comes to Sarah and Abram. You're trying to dictate me, my existence. This is what the Lord is saying. I've already circled on the calendar the date and time in which you should be in the place that I've already ordained you to be in. But you are focused on when the sun goes up and when the sun goes down. You're focusing and counting on how many birthdays you've had. You cannot take the world metrics and try to place God, who is in eternity, in a box called the world metrics. In the world in which we live, time is a factor. People are concerned about age. God isn't concerned about age. This is why the point he always makes, my thoughts are higher than your thoughts. My ways are higher than your ways. He's trying to get you to think on his level and stay away from your thought process in this earth level. There has to be a point where you grow spiritually. Nicodemus, you're supposed to be a teacher. You a lead teacher amongst the Pharisees. And yet you're asking me how a man must be born again. I'm trying to get your mindset off of your carnal learning and understanding. Don't forget where you come from. Don't forget about the learning that you've established and had while you were in your school of Pharisees. But I want you to understand that you are a supernatural being. Don't just focus on the natural part of yourself. Focus on the super as well. The natural part of yourself focuses upon your age, your time. Hey, I need to hurry up. I'm getting old. But the spirit man has no age. There's no time. And in eternity has no age and no time. So therefore, what's going on, Brother Yalen? So therefore, he says, Nicodemus, you asked me a question of something that you should already know, but you cannot process this because you are thinking carnally. You're thinking you're trying to box me in a box. You're trying to measure me based off your time and your education. I don't care how much education you get. You still cannot surpass the knowledge of the Spirit. The Spirit can give you some things that books can't give you. This is what the Lord is trying to get us to understand. Transition your thought process. There are things, yes, you need the book. We're not denying the scriptures. We're not denying the Bible. We're not denying other books that are out here that the Lord has given people wisdom to write. But you must understand something. You must understand that there are things that are in the book that aren't in these books that only the Spirit can give you. to complement the things that you've learned in the books. We got to shift. Men, we have to become more spiritually emotional. I don't like to use the word emotional a lot because people misunderstand that. What I mean being spiritually emotional is, hey, brothers, it's time for us to pour out of us. It's nothing wrong with crying. It's nothing wrong with crying unto the Lord. It's nothing wrong with lifting your hands unto the Lord. It's nothing wrong with that. It's nothing wrong with showing emotions. See, you think that the emotions that you have, the emotion that you have spiritually, you think the world has tricked you into thinking that that is soft. That's not soft. You're created in his image and his likeness. Everything that you have comes from him. It shows the reason why he gets mad. It says heaven rejoice in excitement when somebody receives salvation. That shows that even heaven gets excited. It even shows that God gets mad. All of us go through emotions of excitement, emotions of happy, emotions of being mad. Everything we have, we got from him. But I want to talk to you about sitting time and how your sitting time, and when you think spiritually, you won't be concerned with time earthly. You won't be concerned with earthly time when you're spiritually minded. Now, that doesn't mean that, hey, bills are due. I need to work. That's not denying that. Accept the reality of where you are. But don't reside in that place. See, a problem with a lot of brothers and sisters have is they're residing in places that the Lord is saying, get up out of. Get up out of. Work towards getting out. You got bills, you got debt. Work towards getting out of debt. Work towards that. Accept the reality that you are in debt, but don't make that a place of residence. Don't make that a place of habitation. Yes, I got bills due. I got this, I got that. But I know that the Lord is going to make a way. I'm going to link up with God. I'm a partner with God. Link up with him. I'm not just going to let him depend on. See, people who are religious just sit back and say, you know what? The Lord going to do it. And they don't do nothing. They don't move. And time passing by. And they still sitting there. Those of us who've matured spiritually understand that we have to link up with God. We got to lock arms with the Creator. So that way we're showing him, Lord, I'm not going to just sit here and say, you're going to do it. I'm going to put some steps to the process. Lord, I want another job, or Lord, I want this big paying job. I want this job. Well, the Lord said, okay, if you go and fill out the application, or you go take a couple of classes to get yourself prepared and ready, then therefore I can turn around and I can be in the midst. But you're going to sit back and say, hey, you know what? Hey, I'm just going to get you. Lord going to bless me with a job. But if you don't go out and fill out the application, you don't go to school, you don't go to do these things that it takes to require to get that job, then the Lord sit back and say, hey, you ain't moving. You're not moving shows that you don't believe that I can do it. But when you take the steps and you show him, this is why he says, study to show yourself. You want me to reveal things to you? You got to put in the work. And unfortunately, believers, many of you have been taught to just talk all the time. Just talk all the time. Just talk. All you do is talk. Every time like you praying. And the Lord said, how many times are you going to pray with me? about the same thing that you're not even trying to put in work to do. You're praying to me about a job. And the Lord said, you sitting on your behind ain't filling out no applications. You praying to me about you want a new car, but yet and still you're not going out to do what you have to do to work on your credit. But everybody want the blessing. Everybody want the big things, and everybody want all these things. Everybody want God to move and bless, but don't nobody want to put in the work. Don't nobody. They want the things, but they don't. Every player in the NFL, every basketball player want to win a championship, but those who become great are the ones who put in the work. If you're not putting in work, now putting in work don't mean you just sit. See, the lesson today is sit. And when I mean sit, I'm not talking about just sit idle and don't do nothing. Sitting in what we're talking about today is preparation. Prepare yourself while you're sitting, meaning while you haven't arrived to the destination yet that the Lord has for you. You still have to put in the work. Everybody want to just be sent, but don't nobody want to sit. Everybody want to go out here. Everybody want to teach. Everybody want to do all these things, but don't nobody want to put in the work. Nobody wants to have sitting time, but everybody want to have sending time. You cannot be sent. The apostles themselves were not apostles without being disciples. The Lord didn't send them to the nations without first giving them laboratory experiences in their own hometown. Everybody want to go to the nation. This is the problem that I have sometimes with a lot of those folks who always talk about they going overseas and all this other stuff and all feeding people all in other countries, but yet you got people in your own backyard, in your own home, and yet you don't want to feed them. But everybody want to go to the nations. But don't nobody want to go to the residence that's right next door to them. Sit, prepare. And once you sat and once you prepared yourself, the Lord will open up the doors of opportunity because you've been processed. See, the problem that we have is time. Time outside of your flesh has become the worst enemy to many. Time and your flesh will begin to speak to you to say that the Creator, that God is not moving fast enough. So therefore you need to go and try to make something happen, because look at yourself. You're already in your mid-30s. You know, when you become 50, you know you're right around the corner from 50, don't you? You know that once you hit that age, that it's really downhill for you. There's no hope for you. This is what time and your flesh speaks to you and tells you. But God says, I am bigger than time itself. In fact, I created time. Time does not limit me. I've already declared and circled and put the date on the calendar, and everybody who you're supposed to link up with to help you get to your destination. I've already created this total package before I even sent your spirit into the earth. Now let's look at time. Let's look at time. Let's look at what sitting does. Let's see what the process of God does. And let's see when you come into the timing and the process has taken place and that date on the calendar has been met. Let's look and see what happens with the manifestation of sitting in preparation. When you sit, Don't confuse your sitting time with your preparation time. While you're sitting, you prepare to become what you've called to be. Don't just sit and do nothing, but sit and prepare for greatness. And while you're preparing, that shows God that you're ready. He knows when you're ready. He'll give you laboratory experiences during your process to prepare you for your destiny, your final destination. See, everybody wants the promised land, but don't nobody want the journey in between it. Everybody wants the promised land, but don't nobody want to go through that process of fighting. We have to keep going. Amen, Brother Brian. What's going on, Sister Nita? Now, let's look at this. Let's go to our forefather. Let's go to David and just look at his experience. All right? Amen, Brother Dexter. Let's go to 1 Samuel chapter number 16. We want to look at preparation. We want to look at time. And we want to look at process. Those are some areas we want to look at with this. And we're going to look at how the character of God, how he functions. Let's go to it. 1 Samuel verse number 16, chapter number 16. We're going to start at verse number 1. And the Lord said unto Samuel, how long wilt thou mourn for Saul? Seeing I have rejected him from reigning over Israel. Now let's look at the Lord is getting ready to shift some situations. He's about to get ready to shift. The people have been praying and asking for a leader. They don't want to wait because they're moved by time. And they're moved by their environment. Everybody else got a king. We don't want to wait for the king that you're building, that you're raising up. See, the thing is, the Lord just don't take people, just throw them out there. Because he knows what's out there. So what he does is he processes individuals. So when he put them out there, they'll be fully equipped and prepared and ready. But the people don't want that. They don't want the preparation. They don't want to wait for a king. They want one now. They don't want to wait. We want to be like everybody else. And that's the problem. Many believers, they want to be like everybody else. Many leaders, they want to be like everybody else. I want to have this church this big. I want to have this type of setup. I want to have this. I want to look like this. I want to follow this. I want to speak like this preacher. I want to talk on this type of message like this preacher. Wanting to be like everybody. We need a king. We want a king. We don't want to wait, because waiting on you, we might not live to see it. No faith at all. Time and your flesh will leave you faithless. Time mixed with your flesh will cause you to be faithless. We have to keep moving. There's a level that we have to grow to spiritually. Let's keep rolling. Verse 1. I have rejected him from reigning over Israel. Fill thy horn with oil and go. I will send thee to Jesse, a person, a place. The person is Jesse. The person is Jesse. Look at the character of the Creator. The character of the Creator, he's always using a person. He always uses a place. And he always uses a people to get you to where you need to be. He says, look, he says, Samuel, you the prophet. He said, I have rejected Saul from reigning over Israel. He said, fill thy horn with oil and go. See what I'm saying? I will send thee to Jesse, a person, the Bethlehemite, the place. For I have provided me a king amongst his sons. See, this is going to show. See, Samuel isn't arguing with God. Samuel don't have 50 questions when God is speaking and giving instructions. Everybody I got all these questions. The Lord telling you to do something, you got to question him 50 times. The Lord telling you to say something, you got to question him 50 times. Samuel, go. Abram, go, and then I'll show. Samuel, go, and I'm going to show you which one amongst his sons. This is the character of God. This is why I keep telling you guys all the time. Go back and read. You can, listen, when people try to teach the New Testament and I ask them certain questions and they teach a certain way, I know that they don't know the character of God. Because the way they teach, the things they say shows if they know him versus just knowing about him. This is a character of God that has been through the so-called Old Testament all the way through the New. He does it every time. This is why he says, I change not. You cannot function or do things on your own merit. This is what got Saul in trouble. This is why we got so many different denominations and teachings out here now. Because people got mad or they got questioned God. They don't like what God said in this, and therefore they want to go do their own thing. This is what got Saul in trouble, and that's what getting many of you in trouble. God has a specific way of doing things and a specific character and integrity of how he functions. Let's keep reading. Watch this. For I have provided me a king. Me, not you and not they. We gotta get that. When we're looking in these scriptures, God always uses terms like I to show you that he's in control, to show you that he's running the show. The problem is everybody wanted to be a we thing. There ain't no we thing when it comes. It's you either partner with God in what he wants to do. It's not what you want to do and he's going to join your thought. He's got a thought. He has a character. He has a way of doing things that you're going to get connected with him or move out the way. We got to get this down. Let's keep reading. Verse number 2. And Samuel said, how can I go? If Saul hear it, he will kill me. And the Lord said, take a heifer with thee and say, I am come to sacrifice to the Lord. And call Jesse to sacrifice. And I will show thee that thou shalt do what thou shalt do. And thou shalt anoint unto me him whom I name unto thee. You see that? Now the Lord ain't told him yet. See, sometimes the Lord won't reveal things to you until you get to the place that he wants you to go. Oh, Lord, hallelujah. Listen, let me check this out. Listen, he ain't told. He has not told Samuel who is the chosen. He said, go, be amongst his sons, get to the place that I want you to be. Then I'm going to show you. He said, what he told Abram? Abram, go, and then I'll show. He's telling Samuel the same thing. Go, and then I'll show. Everybody want to know. Everybody want to know. Everybody want to know. and don't want to go. And the Lord said, this is the reason why. That many of you are called, but many of you are not chosen. Because you want to see before you go. And the Lord said, listen, it's a certain character. The thing is, then you got a lot of other people who are going and the Lord ain't told them to go. You got folks who are leaving their jobs saying that the Lord told me to quit, and yet they struggling. You got to understand something. If the Lord ain't told you to go, you sit your behind down right where you at. If the Lord tells you to go, he's going to show. All right. This is the thing. We got to get this. It's his character. This is what he does. Let's keep reading him. He says, verse number 4. He says, let's see here. Go back to verse number 2. Let's go to verse 3. 1 Samuel 16, verse 3. And call Jesse to sacrifice, and I will show thee what thou shalt do. And thou shalt anoint unto me him whom I name unto thee. And Samuel did that which the Lord spake. Samuel was obedient. He was obedient. He had some concerns. Now, there's nothing wrong with having concerns. Concerns and doubt is two totally different things. Samuel isn't doubting God. He's not doubting what he's going to do. Samuel is seasoned. He's been with the Lord. He trusts the voice of God. The thing is that Samuel has some concerns because he's know that that Saul has a major problem going on spiritually. So there's nothing wrong with being concerned. Concern and doubt is two different things. Doubt causes you not to move when God says move. But concern is say, hey, Lord, I'm going. But hey, Lord, now Saul is acting kind of crazy. Ananias, I'm here, Lord. Hey, I need you to go on the road called straight to reach one by the name of Paul. Listen to the character of God. This is the New Testament and the Old. He said, look, I need you to go on the road straight. There's one by the name of Saul that I've chosen to suffer for my name's sake. Ananias knows the voice of God. He's been processed. He knows his voice because when God calls him, Ananias says, I'm here, Lord. He ain't questioning who the voice is. He's just saying, I'm here. What do you have me to do? Go see Saul. Go see Saul, the one who's on the road called straight, that I've chosen him to suffer for my name's sake. But guess what? Ananias isn't doubting God, but he does have concerns. His concerns is, hey, Saul was just killing people the other day. Isn't it awfully funny? Isn't it awfully funny? And I thank the Spirit for saying it now. Isn't it also funny that Saul in 1 Samuel 16 has a problem spiritually? In Acts, the 9th chapter, Saul, who changed his name to Paul, had a problem spiritually. Samuel knows the voice of God. Ananias knows the voice of God. Samuel has a concern about Saul acting a nut. Ananias has concern about Saul, who is Paul, killing people. Both of them named Saul. Both of them are prophets, Ananias as well as Samuel. And both of them are obedient, knows the voice of God, but both have concerns. There's nothing wrong with having concerns when it comes to your mission, but doubt is something totally different. Man, look at this. This is phenomenal how the Lord is revealing things in this hour. Let's keep reading, y'all. All right, verse number 4. And Samuel did that which the Lord spake. And Samuel did that which the Lord spake, and came to Bethlehem. And the elders of the town trembled at his coming, and said, Comest thou peaceably? They say, hey, are you coming peaceably? Are you coming peaceably? We know you're the prophet. See, let me explain something to y'all. See, these next day prophets, these westernized prophets, these self-appointed prophets in the land, in the day and time in which we live, are not the same as the prophets in the scriptures. There are very few. I'm not saying all of them. Don't get me wrong. I'm not saying all of them aren't. But you have a whole lot of people out here who calling themselves prophet. When you are a prophet of the Lord and you come around, people all know that the Lord, that the Spirit of God is with you. They know that the presence, because even in the scriptures, when you are a prophet, and it says it even in the law, if a prophet gives a word and it does not come to pass, he must be stoned, especially if he's speaking on behalf of himself and not what the Lord told him to say. These brothers, these elders, look what verse 4 said, the elders. And Samuel did that which the Lord spake and came to Bethlehem. Watch this. And the elders of the town trembled at his coming. They knew that he was a true prophet. And anytime a prophet opened their mouth, they're speaking on behalf of the Lord. The Lord is speaking through them. And generally when the prophets come to town, they're about to reveal something. See, now we've gotten spoiled. Everybody throw prophet on their name. Everybody throw prophet on their name. And the prophets, they say all kind of crazy stuff. You be like, man, what is this? That ain't the character of the God. God didn't function like this in the old or the new when it comes to the prophets. What is going on? What kind of prophets is this? Saying all kind of, I mean, the way some of these prophets function, I'm like, are you kidding me? And the people follow this mess because the people haven't been with God. The people don't know his voice on paper, let alone do they know his voice in their being. And yet you see people following prophet. They run around. Soon as something, I'm telling you, you throw prophet on your name, they're going to book you everywhere. Because the people got itching ears and want to hear something. They want to hear something. They ain't got no discernment, but they just want to hear everything. Let's keep reading here, y'all. I don't want to stay on that too long. Verse number 5. And he said peaceably, I am come to sacrifice unto the Lord. Sanctify yourselves and come with me to the sacrifice. And he sanctified Jesse and his sons and called them to the sacrifice. Look, man, you didn't just show up. You don't just show up to the temple any kind of way. Yeah, Freddie, I definitely will, man. You got to inbox me, all right, brother? Inbox me and set up the day and time. Verse number 5. Look at this. Samuel say to the elders, look, y'all, I come to make a sacrifice. I'm going to the temple. I'm going to the house of God. You need to sanctify yourself. Get yourself together. Then he tells Jesse. He turns around and he sanctifies Jesse and his sons. Let me tell y'all something. You don't go to the house of God any kind of way. You don't go dressing like you going to the club. You don't go with the appearance and the spirit that you going to the club to hang out and all this old kind of stuff. This is serious. We're going to the house of God. There has to be some form of order and structure and character, integrity. We're going to the place of worship. We don't go before God any kind of way when we worship. But that's the problem. And people wonder why they lacking deliverance. They wonder why they still struggling with cigarettes. They wonder why they still struggling with fornication and pornography and all these different things. It's because you're going every day to the Lord. You're going to him in prayer, and you're going to him to the place, the building that is designated, that is called the house of God, as well as your own temple, which is the house of God. You mistreat and abuse your body temple. Then you go and you be disrespectful in the building place. And then your character is jacked up. Come on, man. There has to be a change here. We have to go before the Lord and reverence him. We got to go before the Lord and reverence him. This is why they did not play when the people went into the temple, especially going to the holies of holies. You didn't play that. You go up in there unrighteous. Go up in there unjust. See, want your behind fall out. It's the same thing today. Making the house of God a den of thieves. Not concerned with righteousness, more concerned with building their own kingdoms. We got to get this, man. Let's keep reading here. Verse 6. And it came to pass when they were come that he looked on Eliab and said, surely the Lord's anointed is before him. Now look, let me show y'all something. I want to show y'all something. Now, Samuel is a prophet functioning in the office of it. The people reverence him and know. But don't get it twisted. Don't ever get it twisted into thinking that your flesh man isn't waiting on an opportunity to step in. Come on, let me tell y'all something. Listen, I want y'all to hear this. As much as you function in the spirit, as much as you've been through your process and God speaks to you, don't ever get it twisted and thinking that your flesh is not waiting for an opportunity to step in. You have to protect and guard your spirit. You have to make sure that you set your soul, that your spirit man is so uplifted, that your spirit man is so fed till your flesh don't have an opportunity to step up. And when it does, your spirit man is willing to check him at the very moment. Listen to what Samuel says, a prophet of the Lord. Listen to what he says right here. He says that it came to pass when they were come that he looked with his natural eye. He's a prophet. He has spiritual eyes, but yet he was amazed with his natural eyes. Women, stop being caught up with your natural eye, looking upon a man, trying to make that man be your husband because of how he looks. Fellas, stop being caught up with your natural eye, looking at a woman's shape and her beauty and want her to be your wife because of what she looks like. You need to get your act together. It's time to shift and go spiritually to a place where you can look at a woman or look at a man and yet you are not moved by what they look like on the outside. This is the problem what Samuel has. Watch this. And God is going to check Samuel. He said, don't get caught up in what he's looking like. Come on here. Let's move it. Watch this. Verse number 6. And it came to pass when they were come that he looked on Eliab and said, surely the Lord is anointed is before him. He looked at him. He didn't listen to the voice of God. See, this is what I'm trying to get y'all to a place spiritually, Israel. You need to listen here, okay? Get this down in your beings. Samuel looked and declared that he was the man. This is the reason why so many are going to be deceived in the last days, because of what they're looking at. And they're doing more looking than listening. Oh, Lord, you're doing more looking than listening. He said, look, he looked at Eliab and said, man, this guy here he's tall. He got stature. He looked like a king. Oh, man, he walked in the place like a king. That gotta be him. But watch what God says in the next very verse. Verse 7, but the Lord said to Samuel, look not on his countenance. Don't look at him. I'm trying to get you to a place, Samuel. You don't let your eyes deceive you. This is why many are going to draw to the son of perdition. Their eyes are going to deceive them because they're looking for a sign. They're doing more looking than they are listening. You don't make a move without God telling you. I don't care what it looked like. The door can look wide open. This can look like the best connection. This can look like the best partner. This can look like the best business partner. This can look like the best spouse. If the Lord ain't told you, don't you get in dealings with this mess, because you're going to be messed up. You're going to be in a situation that you can't get out of. Now he says, look not on his countenance or on the height of his stature. The Lord say, don't look at how tall he is. See, y'all, a lot of y'all sisters love a tall man. The Lord say, don't look on his stature. Don't look on his countenance, because he's tall and got big flexing muscles, and he look at all this kind of stuff. Your carnal eye say, oh, that is everything that I wanted. But your spirit man is not in agreement with the Creator. Let's keep reading here. Watch this. He says here, right here, your spirit man is not in agreement with your flesh. He says, because I have refused him. The Lord said, I refused him because I know people looking for somebody big, tall, dark, and handsome. He said, I'm refusing him. He's just a part of the process so I can help y'all get the way you're trying to be. Okay. He's just an extra in the movie script. All right. The key role player ain't going to look like the role, look like he should have the lead role. When I get to him, I'm just setting this whole thing up to show you that I'm in control. This is why the last couple of days we've been doing these lessons about Esau and all this other dealing with color. Because I want y'all to get, yes, I'm not denying my heritage. I'm not telling you to deny, but I want you to understand something. Don't play with the Most High. Do not play with him. He will put something on your behind. Okay. Let's keep reading him. Watch this. He said, I've told you some things. Don't think you know me to where I've told you everything. Okay. Don't think that. Let's keep reading here. Watch this. He says, I have refused him, for the Lord seeth not as man seeth. Let's go. We got to go back to verse 7. Let's go back to the top of 7. Look at, man, the Lord is speaking this morning, y'all. Look at, watch it. Verse number 7. He said, but the Lord said unto Samuel, you are a seasoned prophet, Samuel. You ought to know better than this. You are seasoned. My spirit is with you. You ought to know better than this. Than to be trying to look and declare something that I never told you to say. And you got people out here doing it every day. Everybody got a prophet on their name declaring something that God never told them to say. Let's keep reading. He says, but the Lord said unto Samuel, look not on his countenance or on the height of his stature, because I have refused him. The Lord said, I refused him before the, look, Lord said, I done refused him before the process even took place. But I've already refused him. He just putting in the application. See, the Lord already got somebody for the job. But yet, everybody else, we got to go through a process. I'm going to let everybody fill out the application. He a part of the interview process, but he ain't getting the job. You have people like, the Lord has already given some of you your positions, even on your jobs, promotions, but they just going through the process of an interview. These other people, they just a part of the process. The Lord had already declared you to have it, but you just got to go through the process. Everybody got to have a process. Everybody got to have a job process interview where they have people that they review that they not going to even choose. It's just a part of the process. Let's keep reading here. Because I have refused him, for the Lord seeth not as man seeth. The Lord is trying to teach you something. How you doing, Sister Griffin? The Lord is trying to teach you something. He said, I don't see how you see. You're trying to base what you see in the realm of time that you're in. You're trying to see from eternity. The Lord said, you can't see from eternity. You can barely see in the span of time that you're in, but yet you're trying to see from my vantage point. And the earth is my footstool. I sit and I look down on the earth. You trying to figure out things out from my vantage point, and you can't even understand your own vantage point in time. And yet you trying to declare and determine what I got going on. Man, y'all better sit down somewhere. This is the Lord we talking about here. Let's keep reading. Watch this. He says, verse number 7. I have refused him, for the Lord seeth not as man seeth. For man looketh on the outward appearance. That's what we've been talking about the other day. This is what I've been trying to get brothers and sisters. But I told y'all, the Lord had already told me. He said these next few lessons gonna bring out the wickedness in people. He said, I want you to deal with this, son. I need you to deal with this because I'm trying to reveal something to them I'm trying to expose the wickedness in their heart. The Lord will expose you before he kills you. The Lord will expose you to stop from killing you. That's a part of his grace. That's a part of his mercy, to expose your foolishness so you can get it together, so you won't get in a position where he got to put you down. I'm trying to tell y'all, man. I'm trying to tell y'all. And a lot of these folks got mad. A lot of these folks still trying to refute and deal with color. I'm telling y'all, we know that we done been through these lessons almost 2 years on the races of the Bible. We done dealt with all that, from Christ all the way down to the 12 tribes of Israel. We done dealt with all that. That's elementary to us. We done dealt with Deuteronomy 28. That's elementary. It's time for us to move. That's elementary. Brother, still talking about the 12 tribe chart, still talking about that. This is elementary. Okay, we know this already. We done been through that 30 years. Some of y'all have been in 30 years still on milk. Still dealing with the Khazars and the Ashkenazis. We know who these people are. But yet and still, folks they still on that. I'm not saying don't talk about it and deny it. But what I'm saying is there's a place that we got to grow. We got to elevate spiritually. Leave that to people who are just not coming into the truth. You who've been in the truth, you should be past that. I shouldn't be seeing on your Facebook wall memes about the same old thing about the transatlantic slave trade. Come on, man. That should not be. I should not look down for 5 straight months and then you just keep on posting the same stuff. That don't make no sense. It's time to shift. It's time to grow spiritually, man. You don't even understand the basics of what we teach you today, and yet you're trying to deal with deep revelation. You can't deal with no deep revelation if you don't understand the basics of the scriptures. You don't even understand integrity and character. It makes no sense. Let's keep reading, y'all. The Lord says, I refuse him, for the Lord seeth not the man seeth, for man looketh on the outward appearance, but the Lord looketh on the heart. Man looketh on the outer appearance, trying to determine who's who, what nation you is, and all that kind of stuff. Man, we ain't got time. Christ said, my sheep know my voice. Go into the world, make disciples of men. Listen, that's above my pay grade. I'm not refusing nobody's salvation. I don't care if they blue. I don't care if they green or purple. My job, what the Lord has told us to do, is to go into the world and make disciples of men. He said, look, that's above your pay grade, son. I know who everybody is on the face of the planet. I need you to preach them out and you let me sort them out. I don't care who they are. I'm going to let him do what he got to do. Let him do his job. I'm going to take care of my job. He told the apostles did their job. The problem is you got a whole bunch of people out here trying to do everybody's job but their own. Everybody's job but their own. You can't even do your own job. You the janitor. Turn around here. You ain't even been skilled in no type of area of chemistry, but you over there trying to make a bomb. You trying to make an atomic bomb. And you ain't even been skilled enough to understand how to make bombs. And yet you over there, you a janitor. All you know how to do is sweep and mop. But you don't, just because you can mix a couple of chemicals in the bucket and mop the floor, don't mean you can build an atomic bomb. Come on, man. This is the problem. Everybody trying to do everybody else's job. Somebody got to flip hamburgers. And somebody love eating them. Somebody got to do, you know what I'm saying? I'm just saying, everybody you got to play your position, man. That's why we're a part of the body. I'm not down talking that brother that's a janitor, because that job may be a blessing for him. But I'm just using the positions to give you an understanding of the point that I'm trying to make. Let's keep reading here. All right. Now watch verse 8. Then Jesse called Abinadab and made him pass before Samuel. And he said, neither hath the Lord chosen this. Now, after the first brother that Samuel looked on and thought was the guy, and the Lord said, look, I don't judge on the outer appearance. Now I need you, your spirit man, to kick in and take control. You let your flesh come in for a second. Now I need you back on track. Now when he gets to the second son, Samuel is hearing spiritually. Now he say, no, God ain't chose him. God ain't chose him. Then Jesse made Shammah to pass by. And he said, neither hath the Lord chosen this. So now he's determining not on his carnality, but he's making decisions based on his spirituality. He's making decisions based off his spirit man and what the low voice of the Lord is saying in his spiritual ears. Verse number 10. Again, Jesse made 7 of his sons pass before Samuel. 7. And the Lord said unto Jesse, and Samuel said unto Jesse, the Lord hath not chosen these. They all got attributes and qualifications to look like a king. But the Lord doesn't deal on the outer appearance because the Lord is in control. No matter the size, the stature, it doesn't matter. The Lord is in control because he's the power behind the person. It's not the person, but it's the power that is behind and in the person that the Lord is using. It's his power. They are just a tool in his hand. He said, don't look on the outer appearance. Because if I ain't with him, even Saul had to look of the outer appearance of a king. He had to look grimy looking. He would just look like he was built to take folk out. But he had no power. The Lord left him. No power. The size, the stature, it don't matter. It's the power. That's why we're trying to shift you into a spiritual, into an area that you need to mature and grow spiritually. You got to shift. We got the education, now shift. He says, Samuel, 7 sons of Jesse have passed by. And the Lord say, nope, not that one. No. He looked like a king. He looked good. The women will love him. But I'm about to do something that's radical. See, the Lord always does something to confound the wise. He said, he always does something to let you know that he's in control and in charge. He always does something that's radical. That's gangster. Folks be talking about he's so God gangster. I mean, they're talking about this person gangster. Man, ain't nobody more gangster than God. God took Moses, raised him up in Pharaoh's house, and took him out of his own house. Who more gangster than that? Who more gangster than that? To plant somebody in your house that's going to overthrow you. In your own house. Nobody more gangster than God. He's gangster. And ain't nobody more radical than God. He's going to take the people that you least expect. He's going to work through them because you don't expect it to be them. The people that's always platform is generally not the ones. It's the ones who's sitting and waiting. There ain't nobody paying attention to. They don't have the big name, but they got a big heart. He said, I don't look at the outer appearance, I look on the heart. God isn't concerned about how big your name is. He's concerned about how big your heart is. Woo! God is not concerned about how big your name is. He is more concerned about how much compassion do you have? How much integrity do you have? He said, if you got a big heart, if you're compassionate, if you have integrity, I can trust you. Those who got big names with no class, no integrity, no character. Those who got little names with no class, no integrity, no character. God said, look, I can't trust you, and therefore I can't use you. Oh my goodness. Woohoo, man. Boy, I'm telling you, y'all better get it together, boy. Because what he's got up his sleeve and what he's planning, those who have been lying and waiting for the set time, those who are lying and waiting for that time to be revealed and let loose in the earth, y'all ain't gonna be ready for them. They ain't gonna have no big names. They're gonna have big, and I keep telling y'all that the Spirit of the Most High keep having me to tell y'all this. You chasing after the people with the big name versus chasing the one who makes big names. Oh my goodness. The Spirit is flowing. I'm trying to tell y'all. You too busy chasing. You too busy chasing the people with the big name. And it hadn't even entered into your mind to chase the one who makes the big name. Everybody trying to chase this person and get connections. You can't get no connection if God don't connect it. He is the one who makes the connections. He is the one who opened up the doors. There is not a man that can open up a door without God sanctioning it. You better start chasing the one who controls the doors. You better start chasing the one who got the keys to all the doors. And you better start chasing the one who makes all the final decisions. Y'all too busy chasing men. Everybody follows Saul. And Saul ain't had no power. He's a king in the position of a king with no power. Everybody chasing people that's on higher levels, but ain't got no power. They got a lot of followers, but they followers ain't being transformed. They got a lot of followers, and they followers are still catching hell. They got a lot of followers, and ain't nobody being delivered. But it's that little church down the street. They got 5 members. And every time somebody passed their doors, a seed is dropped and that person is being changed. That pastor may not never see it, but he's faithful to the 5 that he has, because he understands that fruit is not based off numbers. And he understands that God is more concerned about quality than quantity. And until we get that, we're not going to understand the heart of God. Until we get that, we're never going to be able to be propelled into our destiny. And until we get that, God cannot establish you and make your name great for his glory. Don't get caught up in the crowd. Don't get caught up in the crowd. When you see a lot of folk following the crowd, you better watch the crowd. Because every time the crowd came, Christ either used it as a teachable moment or use it as a way to slip away. Hallelujah. All right, come on, y'all. Let's finish reading here. Verse number 11. This is 1 Samuel 16, verse number 11. And Samuel said unto Jesse, are here all thy children? Samuel said unto Jesse, You say, Jesse, man, this can't be all your children. You got to have some more. Where the rest of them at? And he said, hold on, let me see here. I'm trying to get my camera straight. All right. And he said, there remaineth yet the youngest. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Everybody with the tall stature, everybody that looked like a king, the Lord is about to reveal that he's about to use somebody that don't look like a king. Y'all better stop. Y'all better stop looking with your natural eyes. The Lord said, look. He said, I'm about to do something crazy. I can just see God up there in heaven. I can see just God. And he just sitting there. He just like, boy, they have no idea what's up my sleeve. They have no idea what's up my sleeve. And I thank the Lord for not revealing it to men. I thank the Lord that he reveals it to who he chooses to, based off the size of their hearts and not based off the status that they have in the earth. The Lord said, I'm about to do something so gangster. I'm about to do something so radical that nobody would even expect. And the one that I'm about to choose, he ain't got the $200,000 a year job. He don't have the crowd following him. The one that I'm about to choose, people pass by him and don't pay him no attention every day. The one that I'm about to choose, he just sit around. He's dirty. He get himself dirty a lot. He said, well, I'm just trying to sit here, man. He said, I'm trying to get something to you. He said, watch what I'm about to do. He said, watch and pray. He said, watch. God is the master strategist. I keep telling y'all that. I tell y'all this all the time when I'm doing it. From the beginning of the time I came on here, almost 2 years ago, I said, y'all, God is the master strategist. You don't ever get to a place to where you think you know him. Don't ever get to that place. The Lord has revealed some things to you. He revealed what he chooses. He have not revealed everything to you. And I thank him for that. I really thank him for that. Look at this. Watch this. Verse number 11. And Samuel said to Jesse, are here all thy children? And he said, there remaineth yet the youngest. Look at it. I can imagine him saying, I can imagine Jesse saying, man, I just knew God was going to choose one of these big, tall, dark, and handsome sons of mine. I just knew it. I just knew he was going to. And then he goes to myself. I can imagine Jesse saying right here. He said, after Samuel said, you ain't got no more son? I can imagine him saying, yeah, there remaineth another one. Yeah, old David back there. He ain't. You don't want to see him. He can't. Now you want to talk to the Lord about my big, tall, dark, and handsome son with the muscles. They the kings. I know they the kings. And look here. He said, there remaineth yet the youngest, and behold, he keepeth the sheep. See, all my other sons, they lift logs and wood. They out there, they tilling the ground. They got muscles. They are perfect for a king. But old David, he just tend the sheep. See, that's a lesson in itself. The power at tending to sheep. Listen to this, watch this. Look at it. He said, he back there tending to the sheep, man. Don't nobody want to hang out with nobody tending the sheep. Don't nobody want to hang out to tend it. Nobody tending no sheep. Ain't nobody, he ain't got no friends. Don't nobody want to hang out with him. You want to hang out with my sons. They got the $200,000 a year job. They driving nice cars. They got the big houses. David is not, he's staying home with mama. He ain't got no job. And he hanging out in the backyard with sheep. I know you, Samuel, before you even say anything, please don't tell me it's David. Watch this, y'all. Check this out. He said, there remaineth yet the youngest, and behold, he keepeth the sheep. And Samuel said unto Jesse, send and fetch him, for we will not sit down till he come here. Samuel said, hold on. We ain't going nowhere. See, he understands that the Lord just don't send you anywhere for nothing. And the Lord's words does not return to him void. He said, you go to Jesse. I've chosen one of his sons. And Samuel understands it. He walked with God. He believes. He walked with him long enough to where he trusts the voice of God. He knows that God's words are not returned to him void. And he knows that when God declares something, it has to come to pass. The question that I have for you is, are you looking at the time? Are you looking at how many times the sun rises and sets? Are you looking at time, how many times the moon goes up? How many clouds pass by? How many seasons you're in? Are you counting how many winters there are? Are you looking at the gray hair on your face? Or do you trust that God's word will not fail? Are you willing to sit and wait on the time of God? That is the question. Samuel understands it. He knows. He knows. He knows. See, let me pause right here for a second. Now, we have a brother or a sister by the name of Israelite Royals come into the room. Again, the scripture says here the whole conclusion of the matter. He sees my name, or she sees my name as evangelist. She sees the conversation that I'm talking about spiritually, but yet trying to judge and dictate what I am and what I believe, all because you judge me on my name, which is incorrectly, not judging righteously based on the outer appearance. You failed at breaking the commandments. Now you're turning around and you're saying that I'm Christianity and throwing out all these claims which you don't know. You have not heard the conclusion of the matter, and yet you come in. Again, every time I keep telling y'all, Israel, I continue to tell you when we do these lessons, and when it's always going to be a demonstration that the Most High is going to give us. Every time we do a lesson, somebody always come in to show you that they're lacking spiritual maturity. They're lacking integrity. They're lacking compassion. And they also lack the spirit to where they cannot recognize who's amongst them. And yet they come in and judge it. It always takes place, but yet they begin to say that they're righteous. They say they're the righteous of God. They know the law in and out. They have all these, the 613 commandments. They know all of them in and out, but yet they lack the spirit, which makes them modern day Pharisees and Sadducees. So at this point, Israel, you're going to be blocked. Let's get to our lesson. All right, let's keep reading here. Verse number 11. And Samuel said unto Jesse, after hear all thy children. And he said, there remaineth yet the youngest, and he, behold, he keepeth the sheep. Look at that. He keepeth the sheep. And Samuel said unto Jesse, send and fetch him, for we will not sit down till he come hither. We will not sit down. Because I trust the voice of God. I know when God is speaking. I understand completely that his word does not return to him void. His word does not return to him void. told you, we have to grow spiritually. See, the spirit, when the scriptures tells us to try the spirit by the spirit, test the spirit by the spirit, you should have, your being should be so elevated spiritually and connected to the Creator to the point to where when you come into a room, you should be able to recognize the presence of God without looking at a person's name. I just said, Samuel, which scripture just said, Samuel, do not look at the outer appearance. And yet you have someone come on the video sing evangelist. This is why the Lord told me. He said, I want you to display your name as the office in which you function. And it shows you that they lack the spirit. They got all the head knowledge, all the book knowledge. That's not going to help them. You're limited. You have to grow spiritually. And the Lord always continues to give us a demonstration on these live videos. Every time we do a lesson, no matter what the lesson is about, someone comes in to give us a demonstration. When Christ sat with the apostle, with the disciples, when they talked about different things, he said, now let's go and experience. Let's go and get a demonstration of what we just talked about. Let's go get a demonstration of what we talk, because the demonstration and the laboratory experience is what's going to help you to where you're going. And now the Lord has given us another demonstration of someone coming in and looking on the outer appearance and passing judgment because they don't have the spirit. He does it. All that goes to show he's with us. That is showing us that he's with us. Because the things that we're learning and we're growing spiritually, he wants us to experience before we get where we're going. And these are moments to teach you how to deal with situations. You don't get out of character. You don't lose integrity. But you be austere and firm. You be austere. As scripture said, Christ was an austere man, very stern when it comes to the word of God, when it comes to the commandments of God. You be very stern, but you also have compassion and you also have integrity. Let's keep reading. Now he says in verse 11, and he said, there remaineth yet the youngest, and behold, he keepeth the sheep. And Samuel said unto Jesse, send and fetch him, for we will not sit down till he come hither. Listen to this, watch this. Now Samuel sent for the last one. Now, jump over to Matthew chapter number 20. I want to show y'all something. Jump over to Matthew chapter number 20. Matthew chapter number 20. I want to show y'all something. Matthew chapter number 20. Matthew 20 and verse 16. So the last shall be first, and the first shall be last. For many be called, but few chosen. Now flip over here to 1 Samuel chapter 16, verse number 11. We just read. Now all of a sudden, all 7 of the sons have passed by. They were the first. But there remaineth one who is last, who is going to be first. And that's David. You see, the character of God is from the volume of is in the volume of the book. He allowed all of them to go first, and he chose the last one to be the first. Man, the Most High ain't no joke. I keep telling y'all, he is no joke. Watch this here. He says right here. He says, and Samuel said unto Jesse, send and fetch him, for we will not sit down till he cometh. All right, cometh hither. Verse 12. And he sent and brought him in. Now he was ruddy, and with all of a beautiful countenance. Now, check this out. Those of you, and I'm going to do this lesson again. I did it about a year and a half ago on the difference between ruddy and red. I did a contrast on the difference between Esau and David, because a lot of people love to say that David was red and that therefore he was the same complexion or had the same pigmentation or as Esau, which is not accurate. Okay. Now we're going to go, because we need to look up this word ruddy. And I want to go to the word. I want to look it up. We're going to go to the Bible dictionary because I want to look up the word ruddy. And I want to show y'all what David actually looked like. All right. Zondervan Bible Dictionary. All right. Page number 510. The word ruddy. A word used to refer to a red or fair complexion. In contrast to the dark skin of the Hebrews. So we know that the Hebrews was dark. We know that they was black. All right. We know there was melanin. We know they were the complexion of you and I. But David was ruddy. In contrast to that, he had a beautiful countenance, meaning that he was fair skinned. He was light skinned. He was a pretty boy. He was TI complexion. Okay. And some of these other light skinned dudes out here. All right. He was fair in his countenance, complexion, in contrast to the dark skin of the other Hebrews. Saul and all them, they was black, all of them. But David was different. In his readiness, he was red, like Gregory Hines or some of these other Ronaldo Ray, who passed away. Common, the rapper Common, he was those of their complexion. All right, but he's still considered black. Now, let's keep reading. All right. It says, and he sent and brought him, verse number 12. Now he was ruddy and withal of a beautiful countenance. That dude was a pretty boy. He was a pretty boy, man. Okay. He was so pretty that even they couldn't stand how pretty he looked. He was so doggone light skinned and all that kind of stuff. Light skinned Joker. Oh, light-skinned Joker. Running around him more. It said he had a beautiful countenance about him. Yo, pretty boy, man. Getting all the women. That's why he felt like he could have all the women he wanted without even going before counseling to God. He felt he was so pretty, he could just tell Bathsheba she gonna be his wife. Ain't even talk to God about it. That wasn't wrong. He think he just a pretty boy. Let's keep reading in. All right. No, now he was a ruddy and withal of a beautiful countenance and goodly to look at. The scripture said he was so beautiful and he was good to look at. Like, come on, man. Let me read that for y'all. I know y'all sisters going crazy over. I already see you. You're posting up all kind of stuff. All right. I see all your laughs and all kind of stuff. Y'all doggone stuff. I'm telling you, boy. I'm trying to tell y'all, man, this joker here. Look, let me tell you. Look, watch this right. Verse number 12. And he sent and brought him in. Now he was ruddy and with a beautiful countenance and goodly to look at. I know some of them goodly to look to. I know some of them was like, oh man, I already know. Y'all over there losing y'all mind now. All right. And the Lord said, arise, anoint him, for this is he. The Lord said, arise. This him right here. The little old pretty boy tending to the sheep. He a pretty boy. He ain't getting his hands dirty. He is not getting his hands dirty. Okay? He tending to the sheep. He ain't out there. All right? He ain't out there. He's looking like Elder Vaughn. Sister Sarah, you crazy. That doggone joke with David, boy. David, boy. Hey, man, you better not bring your girl around David, boy. David, boy, David's up. That joker was, look, David was doggone. He was pretty. He was comely. He had a beautiful countenance, and he was a king. Come on, man. That's three factors against us pecan tan brothers that just don't work in our favor. All right, that just don't work in our favor. This doggone joker, David. All right, he light skinned, looking like El DeBarge, running around here, boy, and doggone and then he turned around and he the king too? How would you already know you ain't got no chance? You ain't got no chance, man. All right? You ain't got no chance. David come around, man. You ain't got no chance, boy. All right, let's keep reading. Verse number 13. Then Samuel took the horn of oil and anointed him in the midst of his brethren. Look how the Most High did. In the midst of his brethren. The Most High said, I don't want the brothers to leave. I want to show them and everybody else who running the show. I'm going to take the one that nobody thought was the one. And I'm going to anoint him in front of everybody who thought they was the one. The ones who thought they was the one, I'm going to anoint the one in front of them. But man, God is gangster. He gangster, man. He gangster. He anointed him in front of the brothers, man. This dude was gangster, man. This dude was God, man. God is gangster. All right, let's keep reading here. All right, David, it says, and anointed him in the midst of his brethren, and the Spirit of the Lord came upon David. From that day forward, see, David wasn't looking to be king. See, that's the difference. David minded his business. He out there tending to the sheep. He ain't even looking to be no king. See, the ones who ain't looking for it. Let me explain something to y'all real quick. Let me give y'all a little insight here real quick. Let me give y'all some real good insight. Everybody's running to. Everybody running to. Everybody want to be. But the ones who running from it are the ones who really called. The one, just look in the scriptures. Those who not even looking to be and those who are running from being are really the ones who really called. Everybody who running to it, you better watch them. You better watch them. You better watch everybody who want to run to be platformed. Because when I read this Bible, they didn't want this. Everybody who was called didn't want it. And everybody who was called wasn't looking for it. That is how God functions. The apostles, they wasn't looking to be fishers of men. They was out minding their business, fishing. They mind his business, tending the sheep. And God called them. Come. Let me make you something you're not yet. It's in you, but it got to be processed. Come. And I will make you fish some men. You know how to fish for fish, but I'm going to teach you how to fish for men. David, you're going to be king because you know how to tend to sheep. The sheep represent the people. The Lord was watching how he cared for sheep and knew that his caring for sheep would make him a good shepherd, would make him a good leader for dealing with people. Why? Because sometimes sheep are hard-headed. Sometimes sheep are hard-headed. And sometimes sheep don't want to get in line with what God said. But the shepherd has a way, a tender way of guiding the sheep back in line. Those who are called know how to tend to the sheep. Those who are called understand. And they trust the process of God. Let's keep rolling. Verse 14. But the Spirit of the Lord, listen to this. Now listen to verse 14. But the Spirit of the Lord, because the Lord is in control. He is in control. Pay attention. But the Spirit of the Lord departed from Saul. Saul is still king. Saul is still king without power. He's a king with no power. He's a king with no backing from God. And an evil spirit from the Lord. See that? The Lord took the good spirit from Saul, took the spirit of righteousness from Saul, and replaced it with an evil spirit. This is why God says, I create good and I create evil. See, the thing is, the way we think, it determines everything. We have to think the way God, our thoughts are not his thoughts. I see my dog on video trying to freeze up. I hate to go out and come back in. All right. I hate to come back and start a part 2 because I really want to stick with part 1 and just make this a one video, but it keeps trying to freeze and stuff like that. But the Spirit of the Lord departed from Saul, and an evil spirit from the Lord, not an evil spirit from the devil. See, the way folks think about God and the devil, a lot of that stuff is from Roman Catholic traditions. When you follow Roman Catholic traditions, you don't understand the devil and you don't understand the way God functions by the Spirit. You understand it by carnality. These folks within the Old Testament, the way they thought, they didn't think about, they weren't harboring on talking about no devil all the time. Listen to what they said. Watch this. It said, but the Spirit of the Lord departed Saul, and an evil spirit from the Lord troubled him. So the Lord took the good spirit and sent an evil spirit on Saul. Verse 15. Now listen to the servants. Listen to how the servants think of God. Listen to how the servants think of the devil and evil. They don't think of evil and the devil the way you think of evil and the devil. The way you've been taught and trained to think of evil and the devil. Watch this. Verse 15. And Saul's servants said unto Saul, Behold now, an evil spirit from God. They ain't saying nothing about no devil. They didn't talk about no devil. They knew that God controls the devil. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. I know some of y'all theology just got crushed. I know some of y'all theology just got crushed, and I already know that there are people, I'm telling you, your traditions have just got crushed. Because you think that the devil run around doing what he want to do. And you have no idea. Just in this alone explains to you who's running the show. Who's running the show? Let me explain something to y'all. I'm telling you, when you read this Bible, there's some things that's going to be sweet to your lips and bitter to your belly. It's sweet to your lips and bitter to your belly. It's going to be some things you love that taste good about this Bible. It's going to be some things that's going to hurt your stomach that you're not going to like, because traditions conditions you to think about God and the devil a certain kind of way. I'm telling y'all. I'm trying to tell y'all, man. I'm telling you, you better grow spiritually. You better elevate your mind, brothers and sisters. All right? It's time to shift. It's time to shift. Let's keep reading. Watch this. He says right here, verse 15, and Saul's servant said unto him, behold now, an evil spirit from God. He says, a evil spirit from God. A evil spirit from God. Trouble of thee. That's what they told Saul. They didn't tell Saul, hey man, that ain't nothing but the devil. Hey, the devil after you. The devil, you got to put the devil under your feet. See all that kind of Romanized theology. That stuff don't work with the Bible. That stuff does not compare with the Bible. Because when you read this Bible, it's going to tell you opposite of Roman theology. You know, I'm telling y'all, when Christ came around, you didn't hear Christ all in the Bible, running around, calling that devils. You didn't see the apostles running around calling out no devils. When them brothers came around, the devil started calling them out. Hey, son of man, son of God, have you come to torment us early? You didn't hear Christ talking about, be gone, Satan. Where are you, Satan? How many of you in there, Satan? I know you're around here, Satan. You ain't see no stuff going on. When Christ showed up, when them apostles showed up and when Christ showed up, the devils got to talking. That's how you know who got power. That's how you know where the spirit is and who the Spirit of God is with. Because when you come around, ain't no devil can stand for you to be around. And they gonna cry out. Have you come to torment us early before the set time? Son of God? Come on, man. Y'all better grow, man. Y'all better grow. You have to grow. You have to grow. Let's keep rolling here. Jump down to verse 19. Wherefore Saul sent messengers unto Jesse and said, send me David thy son, which is with the sheep. Check this out. After David was declared the king, after David, we're talking about God had anointed him through Samuel. Once the oil flowed and everybody knew it, David didn't go out there trying to lead and be the king. See, some of you don't get it. God have called you to be. He didn't tell you to become yet. Come on, man. I want y'all to get this. I want y'all to understand this, man. Listen to this. The oil flowed on David. It was declared that he was the chosen one. But David went back to tending the sheep. David didn't try to go and make a name for himself to take the throne. David, I'm called to be. I'm called to be. But yet, even though I'm called to be, I'm still going to go back to tending the sheep. Some of you are stepping out too soon. You're called to be, but not yet to be. There's a process that everybody who's called must go through. You're called to be, but not yet. Go back to studying. Go back to fasting and go back to praying. Don't move before it's time. I've called to be. So now I got to move some things out the way so that when you go to become, everything will be in place and in position. And when you're called to become, everybody that's around you will receive you. But if you try to go teach too soon, and you go try to move too soon out of God's timing, you're going to make things rough and hard for yourself, even though you're called to be. And yes, when you get in the position, you're going to have challenges, but it's not the same challenges you're going to have with trying to make your own name. You're called to be, but not yet. And many of you, I see, and the Lord say you called to be, and he's showing me you called to be, but yet you're moving out of the timing. You're taking what you're called to be as a sign that you need to be right now. And the Lord say, no, I don't need you to be right now. I've used men to confirm you. Lord, I hate this thing freezing up. I've used man to confirm you. Now, I have to equip you and qualify you. You can't join the finals without becoming a qualifier first. You can't move on to the gold medal round without becoming a qualifier first. You're called to be great. You're called to be great. But you called to be great. But you still got to go train. Usain Bolt, you called to be great. One of the greatest sprinters of our time. But even though you're called to be, you still got to train. Your calling doesn't stop you from training. Your calling doesn't stop you from studying. Your study and the spirit that is going to be given to you, into you, from God, is going to marry and match with what you've called, who you've called to be. Too many people are trying to get in position without having the tools and without being conditioned. You have to be conditioned and you have to have tools. You can't just say, hey, I'm called to be a professional football player and don't go to training camp. I've called to be a Super Bowl champion. And they're going to say, okay, but you still got to go to training camp. Great quarterbacks and great teams don't win championships without going through training camp. In training camp, you learn how to develop and sharpen the areas that you lack. David, you called to be king, but I need you to go train. Your experiences will be with the sheep. I need you to go train with them, because if you can't deal with them, I need you to complete your process of dealing with the sheep, because you're going to have to deal with a people that's going to be more hard-headed and stiff-necked than these sheep. You might have, out of 20 sheep, 1 or 2, 3 may get away. But what about dealing with a people with all of them getting away and scattering? You got to bring all of them back together. You got to bring the people back in line. And you're not going to be dealing with 3. You're going to be dealing with thousands. Preparation is key. Sit before being sent. You have to sit before being sent. You have to be processed. You have to be processed. Processed. Let's keep reading. Verse number 20. And Jesse took an ass laden with bread and bottle of wine and a kid and sent them by David, his son, unto Saul. And David came to Saul and stood before him, and he loved him greatly, and he became his armor bearer. I'm going to do a lesson on the armor bearer. That's gotten out of control. That's out of control. That is out of control, man. Okay? There needs to be a proper teaching on what an armor bearer is. Because the way it's going right now, I don't know what that is. That's a groupie session. That's all it is. A bunch of groupies. A bunch of groupies. Come on, man. Folks gotta understand what an armor bearer is. A bunch of groupies fighting and jacking over position of who gonna get next to the pastor the most and all this kind of stuff. Who gonna get next to the deacon and who gonna get next to the captain and all the captain, the deacon, the bishop. Who gonna get next to the assistant pastor, the associate pastor, because they trying to get next to the pastor or the bishop. All this stuff goes on in churches and camps. It's both of them. There need to be a proper lesson about armor. Folks, armor bearers got armor bearer. What your armor bearer need an armor bearer for? That don't make no sense. All this stuff is crazy, man. It's a bunch of madness. Armor bearers got armor bearers. The armor bearer fighting over, jockeying for position. He trying to get everybody jockeying for position. I'm telling you, folks, this stuff don't make no sense. Yeah, your armor bearer, what your armor bearer wiping the sweat off your head for? He can't just give you the doggone, the towel to wipe your own sweat. He got to be wiping your sweat off. This stuff, I'm telling you, this stuff is crazy. Okay? This stuff is not Bible. All right? It's not Bible at all. It makes no sense. It makes no sense, man. It don't take 20 people to carry your tablet or 20 people to carry a doggone and a Bible. You got a folder and a Bible. Why 20 people got to be fighting over who going to carry the folder and the Bible? You can't carry your own folder and Bible. Now, I'm not saying sometimes you may need somebody to make, watch after you say, hey, man, look, man, after teaching, you do get distracted because people want to talk and you may forget your Bible. You may forget your bag. That's a different thing. You want to have somebody to watch that say, hey, man, can you watch my Bible and my bag? Make sure just in case if I forget it or something like that. I'm going to be talking to people and all that kind of stuff. So I don't want to forget my Bible and bag. Can you make sure I don't forget? That's nothing. That's different when you got somebody watching to make sure you don't forget your Bible and your papers and all that kind of stuff. But you got to lead a podium, walking off in the glory into the sunset, and you got somebody got to come up there and grab your Bible and take it off the podium when you purposely walked off and left it because you want to walk on clouds. You got too many people wanting to walk on clouds. And the people love it. They love seeing a leader walk on clouds. They love it. They love seeing a leader walk on clouds. And you egg it on. This stuff don't make no sense. That makes no sense. Let's keep reading, y'all. All right, let's see what it is. All right, we almost finished. We're going to do a part two. We're going to do a part two and finish up tomorrow. But we're going to finish reading the rest of these scriptures. And we're going to jump over tomorrow. We're going to finish up tomorrow, all right? And David came to Saul, all right, and he became his armor bearer. And Saul sent to Jesse, saying, let David, I pray thee, stand before me, for he hath found favor in my sight. And it came to pass when the evil spirit from... Look at verse number 23. Verse 23 is still talking about that evil spirit came from God. And it came to pass when the evil spirit from God was upon Saul, that David took a harp and played with his hand. So Saul was refreshed and was well, and the evil spirit departed from him. See what I'm saying? That evil spirit. It was the evil spirit that the Lord sent. But anyway, we ain't going to talk about it. We'll deal with that another time. We're going to finish up tomorrow, all right? We're going to finish up tomorrow. And, man, I like to think, oh, man, this was a hallelujah. All praises to the Most High God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. This was a powerful lesson today. Hallelujah, brothers and sisters. Man, I like, oh, man, I'm full. I don't know about y'all, man. I'm full. I'm ready. I'm charged up. I'm ready to go. Man, I'll be at the ICC conference tomorrow here in Atlanta. It's going to be 3 days. It's a lot of big bishops from around the country, Africa, and all these other places. It's going to be here in Atlanta. It's going to be during the daytime and the nighttime. It's going to be here at the airport, at the hotel, I think the Westin, in their huge conference room. I'll be on Thursday. I was asked by a brother of mine who's a bishop, a big bishop out of Chicago, who follows me, asked me would I come and talk, asked would I come and speak on the panel with him regarding millennials. And man, I can't wait. I appreciate the opportunity, and hopefully I can get some pictures and we can go Facebook Live or something like that. And so you guys can see the conference. But I'll be Facebook Living from the conference. But it's bishops and clergymen from all over the world tomorrow, and it's going to be in the morning. It's going to be in the mornings and the evenings. It is absolutely free. I don't know if you can still sign up right now. I'll look on there and see. Maybe it's like, 'cause the conference starts tomorrow. It's tomorrow, Thursday, and Friday. And I'll look on there and see it's free, absolutely free. You just have to register. You get a packet and all that kind of. I mean, it is people from all over the world. I'm talking all over the United States, bishops and pastors and prophets and evangelists. All these people all over from all over America, but it's all over Africa, Asia. People who are coming from all over the world. I mean, these are some big time people. And I thank the Most High God for even allowing me to be in the presence and being able to relay and speak truth. Is dealing with the millennials and the youth and a lot of different things they're into, speaking regarding those things. And again, I have some pictures and video, Facebook Live from the conference as well, as much as I can. And I'll send the Support the Brother GoFundMe account to those. Oh yeah, thanks, Brother Ralph. Thanks, Brother Ralph. I really appreciate that. Those of you guys, go on my page. You see I have a GoFundMe up there for travel and food and stuff like that for this coming. The goal was set at 200. Goal was set at 200. And so I think last I checked yesterday, it relayed to me and let me know it was like at $120 or something like that. But it's on my page. If you scroll down, the GoFundMe, just click on that. It'll take us to, because this Saturday we'll be traveling to Augusta. And so we'll be driving, and a couple brothers will be going with me from Atlanta. And, you know, just for food and for gas and stuff like that. That's why it's 200. We're not renting a place. So, or anything like that. So that's why the goal is $200. And, so I just want to be able to make, you know, provide for them. They're leaving their families and stuff like that to follow and come join. So I want to be able to buy them something to eat excuse me, as well as, gas or whatever that needs to be. And so I just appreciate all of you, man. You guys have really been great in supporting the Truth Tour. We'll be then next weekend on the 13th, the Truth Tour Atlanta will be here. All right, we'll be in Atlanta. All right, we'll be in Atlanta for the Truth Tour, and I'm just excited, man. Sister Linda, yes, we do. But we'll be traveling this week. Sorry to keep skipping, but Sister Linda, yes, we do. Money orders, but we'll be traveling this week, this coming Saturday, and I wouldn't want you to pay for overnight or something like that. But that's why we have the GoFundMe set up. Also have PayPal as well, if that's something that you might want to use. But we have PayPal set up and whatnot, and so we'll be traveling this Saturday, and I'd like to thank all of you. I'm gonna get off it because this thing keeps freezing. But definitely share the message and share this lesson. You can share it inboxing somebody. Just hit the share button. And you can send a message, or you can share it to them, or tag their name in the video, or whatnot. Man, definitely share these messages. But definitely tag them is the best way, because many people don't watch a lot of videos in their inbox. But definitely tag their name in the video. Share the video, all these different things for people that you know that will appreciate it, because we have to grow spiritually, Israel, and we have to get ourselves in line with sisters who are coming into the truth. We have a lot of brothers and sisters, whether they're Israel, whether they're Gentile, whether they whatever nation they are. We just thank the Lord for opening up a door for those who are obedient, who love Him and want to follow the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. And I just thank Him for that. And the thing is to continue not to step in His way and continue to do things according to what He told us to do, and leave everything else alone. Things that are non-salvation issues, we should not be arguing about non-salvation issues, or we shouldn't be arguing, period. But especially with things that are non-salvation issues, we need to stick to the foundation and the core of what our job is. Make disciples of men. It's not about who know the most or anything like that. Remember, God looks at the heart. If you have a big heart and you're obedient, the Lord can use you. But if your heart is stoned and your heart is small, and you have no compassion, no integrity, the Lord will not play on you, because He's tired of making people. He's tired of making people, and those people are making His name bad. Right? So I love all of you with the love of Christ. Once again, I always pray that you cannot eat without eating from the word of God. For man shall not live by bread alone, but every word that proceedeth out of the mouth of God. I pray that you cannot drink without drinking from the living waters that flows through Christ, that flows from Christ. Let the light that's within you shine bright outside of you. Love one another so that the world may know that we serve the truth. Love one another so that the world may know that we serve the true and living God. Until next time, shalom to each and every last one of you. Shalom, all praise to the Most High God. I love all of you with the love of Christ. Keep studying, keep praying, keep fasting, and let the Lord use you. Step out of the way, take the shackles off, yield yourself entirely so that you may grow spiritually and become more mature. For the searching of many books has no end, but the Spirit brings all revelation. And books is a complement to the Spirit. Grace to you.